the feet. Bikram does it holding toes. You can do it by holding the blades of the feet and putting your thumbs into your big toe knuckles so it turns the feet out and you can roll the thighs in. I like to put my hands over the feet sometimes, so I'm quite fortunate that my legs kind of lock out in this. But it's really important that you don't round your back. You're trying to lengthen and straighten the back out. So initially when you're going into it, come back up, try and press the chest forward and kind of you're trying to create an arch in your middle back there, so then it draws the stretch from the lower back. Pulling your fleshy part of your bones out of the way, when you get onto your sit bones, it tilts your pelvis forward. So the energy that you're pulling on the toes with, make sure if your shoulders hunch, just hunch your shoulders. Then the stretch will come from pretty much here. When the shoulders are drawn back and down, and you put the arch into the middle back, and you're leading the posture more with your chest, bringing the chest through the arms, it will draw the stretch more from the base of the spine. As you transition through this, when you're able to get your body more onto your legs, so in this, I always focus on this space here, because that will determine that the stretch is still coming from the correct position. Once you've started to stretch out from this lower back area, then if you've got your stomach, thighs, and getting your chest close to the knees, it's then good to bring the elbows out to the side, and then you draw the stretch more from the middle part of your back upwards when the elbows go out, because you've done the work at the lower back. And then that comes through, back of the neck long, don't let the head drop down. Your dristy point is kind of towards your big toes on this, so your head is just slightly up. And then obviously you're getting it through the hamstrings as well. Okay, so just come up for me, would you? Just stand up for me. And then just taking this in a standing posture, again, we can look at Bikram. The adjustment that I give in to people with this is, when you come down, if you struggle with all this, doing it like this also is really helpful, that you create this lock with your arms that you can push your hamstrings back into. So again here, have a look at the shoulders, we tend to do that. So just drawing all that energy back and down, and you can literally feel the stretch is coming down from these lumbar vertebrae. So it's similar posture, obviously, that you're doing on the floor, same name for the posture. From that, it's a good introduction. I think we're all right with this. Actually, Wayne, that might work better for you with your body and your hamstrings that are quite tight. And then once this work is carved out, taking the hands to go behind you, to grab the heels. So seeing the version of it, okay, grab the toes, let's have a look. So you can see it from that position when Sarah's sitting down. Same process. Yeah. Okay. Questions?
And then there's Bikram.
And then there's, the Bikram one. With the Bikram one on this also is, you have these lines on your fingers. For me, I'll probably grab and hold the heel, because that gives me more leverage on my hamstring. Obviously, the more flexible you are, you're putting the hand into the palm, the heel into the palm of the hand, which then also restricts how much stretch you're going to get through the back of the knee. Yeah, so that's another thing for Bikram in this posture. So I can pretty much lock my knees out in this, but if I were to grab any further forward on it, obviously that would restrict my legs from engaging. Okay? You're all good on that? I think, Wayne, for you, I think using in that standing version is maybe to do it like that for a little while, because it sandwiches you in a little bit tighter and it gives you the work into the back of the knees.
The other thing as well, when you're doing seated, for some people, like this action makes them round. So if you put your hands on the mat and just energetically draw your hands back, it draws the shoulders down. And then you just keep the length in the spine and you just try and use the fingertips to draw you forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you know, if do it really badly. So this is what you see a lot of. So, you know, straighten the legs out. And as soon as you're hunching and rounding, you know, a lot of people focus on thinking it's about locking the legs out. But actually, if you bend the knees, and then that gives you more lift through the chest and drawing the shoulders back and down. The main aspect of the posture is the lengthening of the spine, and the stretch through the hamstrings on the seated position is secondary. On the standing posture, I would say 50-50 more. But on the seated position, bend the knees as much as you need to. If you're rounding forward to establish your grip on your toes, then it's better to bend the knees to get the lift through the chest. You know, the kind of dialogue and the instruction is more to create this arch in your middle back and lead the posture with your chest, as then that draws the stretch from the base of the spine. Okay, any questions there? Your battery's on low.
That's fine. You can even do this on the floor, actually, where you start like this.
Yeah, look.
And then you come down, and then until, you know, you feel okay, my stomach wants to come off the thighs, and then you can maybe grab the toes. That's another way to do it.
She's on it, man. Alison, tell me.
So if you're,
when I go down, because I just go straight all the way down and lead through my chest, my arms are going beyond my feet. So how do I make sure I get a nice enough stretch doing it? I mean, sometimes I end up having to put a block behind my feet to just keep going.
That's
you need a block.
You need a block.
Yeah, just keep going.
You need a block.
Because I never feel it in my back. The only time I feel it is a bit in my hamstrings, but I can just keep going.
Yeah.
So,
and then you can always grab your wrist.
Yeah, you can always do it like that.
You go all the way with the block, and then, you know, I can't do it, but then once you would have hold of your wrist.
Well, even this, without the block, can you hold your wrist?
Let me try. Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be good for you. I mean, you might see Helen, who practices here. She's on 3 blocks.
Jesus.
Yeah.
She's just got 3 blocks.
But she's worked that, you know. She does standing splits against the bloody wall these days, but that's what she floats her boat.
Yeah.
So she's got to a point now where she's on 3 blocks. I've seen her doing this Paschimotanasana with 3 blocks. So that extension that's coming through for her, for you then, if you're not feeling it, then you need to take the block to give you a little bit more of a challenge there, that it's still coming from your lower back. You said you're feeling it in the hamstrings though.
Yeah, I never feel it in my back, ever.
Never feel it in your back. Okay, let's try that then with a block when you've got warmed up.
Yeah.
So when you do your Bikram, keep that with you.
Friday morning, I'll be there.
Okay. Friday morning. Friday morning. Now, Glenn, any questions?
Yeah, can I swap with Alison's body, please?
I think your wife might have something to say.
Well, I don't know if I'm that flexible. She'll have a lot to say.
Okay, it is not that kind of a show.
Yeah, cool, we have.
That no? It's saying Kundalini. Right, okay. Rennie, any questions there? No? All good? Wayne's World? All good?
Okay.
Right, okay, so let's have a look at binding. So this, let's start with Bikram twist.
Okay.